We are live. Tobi, over to you because you know I don't want to talk too much on this Man United match. Absolutely decimated, but yeah, let's get into it.
There's a bit of a lag, but obviously you lot put in a pretty shambolic performance against Chelsea. You know, that's probably the worst Man United performance I've seen against Chelsea in a long time. I don't think you lot even played that bad. The last time you played Chelsea in the FA Cup final and you lost 1-0, that was horrific. And I just want to start off by asking the one question that everyone can't stop talking about. David De Gea, is he finished? Is he officially finished now? Because this is head loss after head loss, scrambling after scrambling. Where do Man United go from here with David De Gea? I don't know.
Tobi, you're so eager to get into me. You didn't even want to introduce the guests first. You're hungry for my head, innit?
Sorry. We got our lovely mates from Cheeky Sport joining us today, and we got this loudmouth Frimpong joining us as well, because obviously he wants to brag about Arsenal. We got Joel, who couldn't stop screaming about Arsenal yesterday, and we got Akeem, who looked visibly annoyed already.
Hey, you look so distressed, right?
You know what it is? I feel like it's because you lot haven't been used to losing. Like you forgot who you were in it because of this unbeaten run. So now that you suffered a bad loss, like all of a sudden it's panic station to Man United. So
yeah, man. Joel, you're on mute, by the way.
I've unmuted you. Go on.
Oh, what, you muted, man? Because you knew I was going to be talking that smack. That's why. Listen, reality's hit. Reality's hit, Man United. I thought Martial Henry, as Akeem calls him, was going to come and do the business. Bro, you man need to settle down. But I'll tell you what, things like this is just going to enforce Man United to go out there and make sure they wrap up the Sancho deal and all that stuff, because you can still see they're frail, man. Lindelof, woo! Listen, mate, he needs to take a timeout. Do you know where I'm coming from? That is not a top centre back that could, even if you get in the Champions League, with his kind of defending, you'll be out of it quicker than you can spell your surname. I'm telling you, bro. He's not the guy. He's not the guy.
You know, you say that about Lindelof. You say that about Lindelof, yeah. Like people say Maguire needs a better partner, but of the two of them, I'm thinking Lindelof needs a better partner, to be honest. Like Maguire's making way more mistakes and errors than Lindelof is.
Sorry, I'll just laugh at that Akeem's face, bro. Look at Akeem.
He's giving us 50 shades of depression.
Right.
Let me hold on. Listen, first things first, yeah. Oli is a clown business. Yeah, he's a clown. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, yeah, started. You gotta deep this. Man United changed formation. We changed the formation for no reason, you know. For no reason. Yeah. We changed formation. Yeah, David De Gea made mistakes. Yeah. But Harry Maguire was at fault for 2 of them 3 goals. So Harry Maguire, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, David De Gea was at fault. But even if David De Gea didn't make them mistakes, Man United would have deserved to lose anyway. Terrible performance. And now we're out of the Cartoon Cup. We're out of the Arsenal FC Cup. Oh, it's the Cartoon Cup now, yeah? Because you're out.
Hey, it's Cartoon Cup. You know what I'm saying? It's a Cartoon Cup, but we're out. Do you know what I'm saying? We would have taken it. But it's a Cartoon Cup.
Can I ask a question?
I see Oli scrambling, boy. Scrambling. He put in Gunwood FC. He put in Gunwood in there. He put Bruno Fernandes FC. He was trying everything he can do, skipping pens. He put in Pogba. He was trying his best, but it just nothing was working, bro. Nothing was working. I looked at Man United and I thought that's what you get for being so big-headed and trying to talk down as if you had already won the semi-final. Oh, please.
Did Oli ever come down from the stands? Or was he still just sat in the stands? Like?
Listen, the winner.
He's right.
Listen.
No, sorry. In the FA Cup final, yeah, I seen Arteta.
Just to say,
Arteta in the box.
I saw Lampard in their box. I saw Pep in their box. Ollie was sitting with the subs, cuz. I don't understand why. Why was he up there?
Bro, I don't know what Ollie's a weird one, innit? I don't understand. But what I can say is the winner of that game today will win the FA Cup. So Chelsea's got it, innit? Chelsea's got it in the bag. So I don't know why Arsenal fans are smiling.
See, this
Brilliant
is
team.
another
You
thing.
got slapped by Chelsea last time anyway in the final, and the same thing will happen again. That's it.
Like I said before I came in this thing, yeah. No, everyone needs to understand that the FA Cup is our thing, cuz. It doesn't matter who we're facing in the final. We come back with a cup. There's a reason why we got 13 FA Cups. You lot slapped us up. We took it to penalties and still took the cup off you, bro. We don't lose FA Cups. It doesn't happen. So all this, Chelsea beat you in back here. There, it doesn't matter, bro. The FA Cup is our thing. Yeah, it doesn't matter who we play. We can play Barcelona in the FA Cup. We're taking the cup home, bro. And you know that. I can see by the way you're smiling, bro.
Take the cartoon.
Oh, yeah, now it's the cartoon cup. Before we couldn't win it, now it's the cartoon cup.
Take the cartoon cup.
Okay, he's fuming. All right, you wanted to be there. I know you wanted to be there.
Take it.
A lot of people want to be there. But some people, you know, some people's managers sit in the stands with their subs. You know what I mean?
Prim, so before, obviously, I know you want to brag. You want to brag about you want to brag about Arsenal, but I just want to ask a genuine question now. So I'm going to direct this one at Steve. So, Steve, what do you think Ollie got wrong with the tactics today? I know obviously Joe's had to go off because he's got to record something else, but where do you think Ollie went wrong with the tactics today?
You know what? I just sat, yeah. I just sat and I've stayed quiet. I've just been absorbing the nonsense from United fans around me, yeah. I just think, and I've been guilty of this in the past, yeah. But sometimes we're just too reactionary, like as United fans, yeah. I think to me, the one thing that this loss called out to me was our lack in squad depth. We played our last game, obviously less than 48 hours ago, or Chelsea rather had 48 hours more than us to rest their players. We've got to prioritize getting into top four. Do you know what I mean? So we did have to rest our players, and resting a few players meant that in some ways this was the only formation we could play. It's worked against Chelsea a few times, and you just saw. Nah, Akeem, you the same guy who said Martial was playing right wing the whole season. I'm gonna have to mute you.
That was banter. Hey, listen, hold on. Let me finish though. Let me finish. I'll let you talk. I think for me, yeah, what it showed is that we don't really have creativity past our first 11, and that Chelsea played really well today. We played badly. We looked leggy, and I think sometimes let's not look past too much past the 90 minutes. We just got beaten by a better side today. The team on paper was better than us. The team on paper should have beat the United team, and that's what happened. And I don't think you can go attacking Ole for this result, because at the end of the day, if you look at all the goals, you can say they're all errors by the players on the field. So I just think it was a bad performance from us. We have to move on. You know what I mean? I don't think we should be criticizing Ole for this, because this is the same guy we'll be praising next week if he goes and wins. Too much. One game we win, we're up in the air. Next game we lose, we're complaining. Completely disagree, bro. Completely disagree. Ole is at fault at the core of this game. Let's make something clear, yeah? Now, hold on. Let's make something clear. One of the problems, yeah, and you should know this because you're not reactionary, yeah, is people are headline hunters. Do you know what I'm saying? They headline hunt. So even I remember turning on the after reaction, the reaction from the game, and all people are talking about is David De Gea cost Man United the game. No, he didn't. We would have lost anyway. We deserve to lose. It doesn't matter if you take his 1.5 mistakes, because he had one obvious mistake. The other one, it was really Harry Maguire's fault. But even if you say it's David De Gea's fault, even if you say it's Harry Maguire and David De Gea together, bro, take their mistakes out, we would have lost anyway. We were tactically inept. We were nowhere near prepared for this game. Yeah, obviously we're tired. Yeah, 100%, bro. You don't change the formation and the personnel. You don't do both. I don't care if you got tired legs. One or the other. Yeah, it don't make no sense. because the two chances, even Giroud's first goal was because they got in behind Mason Mount and he got crosses in. That wouldn't have happened if we had a flat back four. It wouldn't have happened.
I think it would have. Akeem.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't have happened, bro. Bro, it wouldn't have happened because Manchester. Bro, you're forgetting, bro. Just to be clear, you're forgetting Manchester United's got one of the best on paper in terms of goals conceded in all competitions. By the way, Man United's got one of the best defenses in the country. Yeah, we're not one of them teams that will get peppered. Like we don't get peppered like that. So it happened because. It happened because we had no formation. The formation was all over the place.
Sorry. The thing is though, I just have to.
Am I wrong?
I'm gonna say you are wrong. Yeah. Let me just make these points here because obviously, he's changed the formation and changed the personnel. I said, me personally, I wouldn't have necessarily rested players because for me, I think a lot of the players in that squad, you know, other than your Paul Pogba's, your David De Gea's, they haven't really won much. Do you know what I mean? I think the FA Cup is still a good opportunity to win silverware, and I don't think, you know, whether you're going to call it the Clown Cup, this, that, and the other, I don't think the team that United are right now can be turning their nose up at the chances to win silverware, right? But then also, and then one thing I would say in disagreement with you, Akeem, though, is that, you know, that back five formation that he's put out, obviously Luke Shaw wasn't there today, has been very, very effective in all of the big games that he played this season. So it's not something that, you know, the players are completely unfamiliar with. That's the same formation that he's employed 3 times this season beforehand.
That's not what I said.
Beforehand to beat the likes of Chelsea 3 times. Do you get what I'm saying? You beaten Wolves playing that formation. You beaten Man City playing that formation. You got points at Spurs playing that formation. So I don't think it's a problem. It's not a problem with the tactics. It's not a problem with the tactics. It's not a problem with.
That happened before Corona. That happened before the coronavirus.
It's not a problem with. It's not a problem with the tactics.
I respect that.
It's a problem with it. It's a problem with the execution, and a lot of your players today did not turn up. They didn't play. Like Bruno Fernandes was off the pace. Marcus Rashford off the pace. Daniel James wasn't offering you the same outlet that he normally does when he plays in that front two. You know, there were a lot of players that you could point at and say that they didn't perform today. So I think it's very unfair to put that solely on Ollie's shoulders.
My bro. Bro. If a team, I'll just say one thing quickly, yeah? Sorry to say again. If a team goes from winning on form, stick to that same damn formation. It don't matter if we slapped up Chelsea 20-0 9 months ago. That's a long time ago, bro. Yeah? The Corona, pre-Corona and post-Corona is completely different. Yeah? We were talking about that the other day. Look at Reece James. Look at the abuse he's getting now from Chelsea fans after the coronavirus. It's completely different, bro. People's forms change. Our form has changed. Our team has matured. Pogba and Rashford has come back to form. Yeah, they've come back in the team. We cannot play that back five anymore in all of these games, especially when you've gone on a 7-8 game win. We've won 7 of the last 8 or something. Yeah, you can't go on a winning run like that. Yeah, and 6 of the last 8, whichever. You can't go on a winning run like that and then change the formation. That doesn't make any sense.
But
and apart from that, I agree with everything else you're saying. But bro, in games like this, yeah, you've got to put the energy on the manager, because how can a team go, bro? It's not good enough. It's not good enough.
I think
it's not good enough. You can't let the manager get away with allowing these men to be so confused on the field and drop their standards.
Let me speak for a second. Dan, on the whole resting players thing, yeah. The reason I disagree with you is that I think if you look at the last 2 games, yeah, obviously United have started the same first 11 in the Premier League for 5 games in a row. It's like the first time we've done that since the early 90s. Do you know what I mean? The reason you don't see that is not because like managers can't make up the same team. It's because like you actually need rotation in the team to keep your team fresh. I don't think anyone else in the Premier League has done the same thing. And the reason we've done it is because we don't have a squad, but we've needed to prioritize the Premier League. And if you look at our performances in the last 2 games, we've looked leggy. And this match has come 48 hours after the last Premier League match we're going to play. So I think it could even be detrimental, one, because you might not get the performances you want out of those players today, and then it might hamper them again later on when we play the final 2 games in the league, and we actually have to prioritize one, which is why I keep coming back to the point that the one thing this match showed me is that we don't have a squad, we don't have squad depth, and I think I can understand why Ollie's rested players, because I think if you look at it, we've got to prioritize top 4-1, and we've still got a good chance of winning the Europa League. So I don't mind him resting players here. I think today, like, the players actually have to look at themselves and think, we weren't at the races. We didn't turn up. De Gea didn't turn up. Maguire didn't turn up. Lindelof didn't turn up. Most of the team didn't turn up. And like, we go on about tactics, this, that. Sometimes it's actually just the players. But obviously, we need to talk about Chelsea as well, who I thought were actually really good.
Because I wanted to actually speak on Chelsea as well, because I think Olivier Giroud now, he's someone who at the start of the season we thought he had lost sort of somewhat his goal scoring touch as well, but recently he's come into the team, and even beyond the goals, you see the presence that he carries up top for Chelsea. I thought from as early as probably like the first 15 minutes of it, when he won a foul off Maguire on the left-hand channel, I already knew that he was going to give them centre-backs a hard time today. And then even getting away from Lindelof to score the first goal as well. How much of an influence do you think that Giroud has had on this team, Prim? And do you regret Arsenal selling him?
You know what? A little bit. Because I feel like Giroud, if we had Giroud now, I feel like we would be in a better position, because I'm still not convinced about, like I said, I like his hold-up play, but then Giroud has good hold-up play, and he has the height as well to feed players like different ways. So getting rid of Giroud, sorry, I feel like it kind of detrimented us a little bit. And like, I'm quite surprised. I'm surprised he's got back into the team, because at one point I thought Giroud was done at. Like, I thought he was gonna go back to France and then play his football out there. Then we will never hear from him ever again. But he's come back. Like, he's in the Chelsea squad once again. Because also at the beginning of the season, Tammy was banging. So I didn't think he was ever gonna get into the squad. But obviously Tammy's form's dipped, and Drew's taking his chance. So yeah, I'm kind of happy for the guy, because I'm not gonna lie. When he was here, we kind of got on his back too much. Like, we didn't really respect man, innit? but then again, you can't win the league with Giroud. So there's a reason why we got onto him as well. So yeah,
you can win the Europa League with him though. But
nice.
Dan, I'm going to come to you with my next question. So obviously, we're talking tactics here. I personally think that the stick that United fans are beating Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with, oh, he got his tactics wrong today. I get he made some errors, but we can't put it all down to him. But a lot of people want to put this Chelsea win down to Lampard's tactics. So do you think that this was a case of Frank Lampard tactically outclassing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, or do you think that this was Frank Lampard finally getting a reaction out of some of his underperforming players against the tired Man United side?
Yeah, personally, like, I don't think I saw anything special there tactically from a Chelsea side today. I just thought they ran more than United. They showed a bit more fight. They battled a lot more than what United did, and were more accurate in the execution on the actual pitch. And I think a lot of the times in some of these big games, that's sort of been the missing factor for Chelsea this season. And today it finally clicked for them. Like, for me, I think they played to Giroud's strengths as well. Like, him and Maguire was a very, very good battle in that first half, especially. And you know, they put in a lot of crosses to him, and eventually got their rewards for it. So I don't think Chelsea or Lampard or Chelsea did anything particularly spectacular today. I think Lampard, one thing I would give him credit for is probably matching the formation of United, because obviously he's seen that Ole's played the back three in the previous matches, and he's put something out there to sort of counteract that. So I'll give him credit for that, but I think the players have to take a lot of the credit there as well, just for the way they executed today.
Yeah. So Hakeem, I'm gonna quickly come to you next. Obviously, Mason Mount, I thought that he did quite well in midfield today. I feel like he brought some of that energy that we were expecting to see off sort of Fred, because Fred is someone who's quite energetic. But today, I felt that he was well off the pace. I felt that his use, him and Matic, their use of the ball today just wasn't good enough as well. So I wanted to ask as well, is he still there?
Yeah, I guess you have to ask me.
He's angry, cuz.
Steve, I'll direct it to you then. But what did you think of that midfield battle today? Because again, like we said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, really and truly, he's gone with a tried and tested formula against Chelsea this season in that back five, and the duo, the dual act of Fred and Matic has worked in the previous occasions where you lot have played Chelsea. So what was it that sort of went wrong today? Because Kovacic was Kovacic. I think he's played pretty well in across all the matches that you lot have played this season, win or lose. So what was it for you lot that sort of lost that edge in midfield today? Was it tired legs? Was it sort of just a lack of progression on the ball? What was it?
Yeah, I just think we were unable to keep the ball very well. If I look at the players who are on the pitch, like Wan-Bissaka on the ball, like he's poor. Fred on the ball is okay, but he's not as good as obviously Pogba. I didn't think Matic distribution was particularly great today, and I didn't think Dan James kept the ball particularly well either. So I just think we weren't able to keep or maintain possession. And then obviously, if you look at Chelsea, to Dan's point, they were just running everywhere, getting at us, hungry for it, good in the fight. So I just think we got overran. I think they wanted it a bit more than us as well. And I think in these type of matches, like, it's that extra hunger and that extra drive that kind of tells. And I just think they were at the races. We weren't really today. We couldn't keep the ball.
Fair enough. So Frim and Dan. So I wanted to quickly touch on the elephant in the room. The elephant.
Touch on it. Touch on it.
The elephant in the room that's earning 375 bags a week. So.
Yeah. Donut.
Akeem's just messaged me now. He said that he's going to jump back in. He lost signal. But David De Gea, I know he's going to have a lot to say, but David De Gea. So, Frim, I'm going to start with you. Is he finished, like officially finished at the top level now?
I hope not. I want him to stay out. I want him so we could pepper some goals past him. Is he finished? You know what? I actually think he's going through like a bad patch. I don't think he's as bad as people think he is. Because you need to remember that David De Gea, yeah, he's actually a bad boy keeper. But then he's probably going through this little patch where things are just not going right for him. Like, I feel like every player goes through it. And what? How old is he? Like 31, 32?
I'm not sure. I think he's over 30, but I think.
And I feel like with goalkeepers, this is the sort of time where they're in their prime kind of thing. So I feel like it's just a little patch where right now everything he's doing is just not working, and then he's just got to get through that, and then he might come good again. But I don't think he's finished. But then United fans have like watching more than I do. Like we got two world-class goalkeepers, so you know what I mean? I ain't got that issue. But
I don't know about two. But you know what? So Akeem, it's good for you. It's good that you joined, because obviously we're on the topic of talking David De Gea. So I'm gonna go to Dan first, and then I'm gonna come back to you. So Dan, David De Gea now. So Man United have got this conundrum now. He's on 375k a week. He's pulling out stinkers. They got Dean Henderson, who's on loan at Sheffield United, who's doing relatively well. He's been one of the best keepers in the league this season. If you're Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, first of all, do you drop David De Gea now? Do you finally say, you know what, the last couple of games of the season, Europa on the line, top four on the line, I need someone who's much more reliable, so I'm going to put in Romero. And next season, I need to consider long-term whether to move you on and start prioritizing Henderson as number one. So what does he do in both those scenarios for now and for next season?
Yeah, to be honest, for now, I'm actually surprised that he didn't do that. He hasn't done that already. I thought today would have been a great opportunity to sort of give Romero a tester. Like, you can use the excuse of the FA Cup being your tournament, so you're not necessarily dropping De Gea. But then if Romero does play well, you then have an excuse to keep him in the team. So he's made it actually more difficult for himself and more of a scandal, I would say, if now De Gea is dropped going forward. So from a man management perspective, I think he's missed a trick there. today, and I would drop De Gea, to be honest, because if you look at it, I think we said it before. Like United's defensive record since lockdown, and even before we went into lockdown, was really good, and some of the like 60% or if not higher of the goals they was conceding were down to keeper errors. You get what I'm saying? So the excuse is there that if you want to drop this guy, like the numbers can back up that decision. So for me, I would be starting Romero from next season. I don't know. It depends if Romero is willing to stay as a number 2 or not. But I would definitely bring Henderson on, the pre-season tour or whatever you're trying to do, and see whether or not he can step up into that number 1 spot. Because from the reports I've been reading as well, Henderson is basically saying that if I'm not going to be number 1 next season at United, I'm going to be number 1 somewhere, because I'm too good to be a number 2. So it's basically Ole's got a choice. He's either going to play Henderson number 1 or he's going to have to sell him.
So Akeem, that sort of brings me on to you then. So obviously Dan made a good point there about whether he picks Henderson as number 1 or selling him. But in terms of selling, David De Gea now, are Man United in a position where they literally just have to cut ties with him now? Or is it a case where you bring on Henderson next season?
I need to take a picture of King's face.
Have De Gea still there for depth?
Look at King's face.
It must be frozen. It must be frozen. He's had a
He's had to do. I think he's got
he's got serious connection issues. On the thing with Romero is, I think Romero's got a fitness issue where he can't play 2 games in like a week or something like that. So there's a reason why.
He's a keeper.
No, it's actually a fact. It's a fact. I read it. I can't remember where I read it. So like, if we were to drop De Gea, we can't have Romero starting as our number 1 keeper week in, week out. But I just think it's got to the point now where, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't mind De Gea playing if it was 1 error every like 15 games or so. But now he's making an error once every 5 games, and it's costing us way too many points. You know what I mean? And it's the types of errors as well. It's not even like there's somewhere you say, oh, you should be doing better, and there's somewhere you're looking and you're like, this is absolutely terrible. And I think his confidence absolutely shot from that World Cup 2018, where the Spain fans were getting onto him, and he hasn't recovered since. And I just think, like as I've been saying, like with keepers, once you lose that air of invincibility, that's it. Like you're gone. But the thing is, I don't know if Henderson is good enough to replace him.
That's the thing.
I also think Ollie's too scared to drop him.
I think he is, but I think it's a big call to drop him as well. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm I wouldn't be mad if he was our keeper next season, because I don't think Henderson's proven to me that he can be a number 1 goalkeeper at Man United. I think he's proven he's a good Premier League goalkeeper, but to be a number 1 goalkeeper at Man United for a long period of time as well, that's like you've got to be top drawer in it. So
you got to give him the opportunity to prove that, though.
Surely. Yeah, you do.
But before we get on to Akeem, we've seen this. We've been in this situation before with Man United and these top-notch goalkeepers. Remember Ben Foster at Watford? He was fantastic for them, up and coming. Arteta. He went to Man United, number 1, and it didn't work out. I'm all for giving goalkeepers chances, and I do think Henderson's been really good here. But number 1 at United is a different level. So Akeem, I wanted to quickly come to you now. So what's your view on this whole goalkeeping situation then? What should you do with De Gea and Henderson?
Akeem's not here from. Oh my days.
His signal's struggling.
Just tell him it was a good attempt.
Yeah, it was a good attempt. But,
he's back.
He's back. Just before we move on as well, I just wanted to mention my new phrase for Bruno Fernandes. I'm now calling him Bruno Fernandes until further notice. I wanted to announce that on the stream so it can catch on.
Did you make that one up yourself, Toby?
I made that one up myself.
Yeah, that's class.
That's got 250 penalties, bro. It's like score a normal goal, bro.
Man, all I'm saying is Fred. I mean, Pepe got bashed for not scoring in open.
Blood.
But Bruno literally nets penalties for fun, and we're hearing that he's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yes, he's it. I can score for 12 yards.
Wait. What are we doing here? Because are we actually saying that Bruno's overgassed? Is that what you're saying?
No, he's
All right.
Bruno's good.
He's overgassed. He is overgassed. He's overgassed.
The commentators are not objective when they're analysing. Like the guy can literally do no wrong. Honestly,
Yeah, that I agree with. But he's a quality.
He's a top tier player. He's a top tier player.
He's overgassed and he scored their penalties.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know about overgassed.
But Akeem, I know obviously you've been having like internet issues, but before we move on, I wanted to get your view on David De Gea, innit? David De Gea, Henderson. Where do you stand on this situation?
Yeah, so firstly, apologies about the connections. I'm in some mad place still. Outside of London, so that's the
Man ain't paid his bill, bro.
But anyway, yeah. Listen, like David De Gea, I agree with what Dan's saying. In fact, you know what? I agree with what all of you have been saying to some extent, which I'm surprised by. Yeah. And what you lot are saying about the team is that firstly, Dean Henderson is a top keeper clearly, but he hasn't proven himself at the top level. And Man United need to watch out on bringing in more players with inexperience in a very inexperienced side as it goes. I think someone said it a few minutes ago, about how I think Dan said it, about how few players in this team have won something. Do you know what I'm saying? And David De Gea is one of the last guards of experience, real experience that Man United's got. Do you know what I'm saying? Not even just at club level, but at international level. Do you know what I'm saying? Because no disrespect, but the man who's wearing our captain's armband, even he has had almost zero experience at the top level. You know what I'm saying? So
now be disrespectful.
And what you got to look at, look, I'm not trying to be a David De Gea apologist, innit? But if I was a goalkeeper, I've never been one. If I'm a goalkeeper and I had that in front of me, I would have a lack of trust. I would have a lack of trust and confidence as well. Do you know what I'm saying? And the reality is, David De Gea, let's not. Yeah. One of the things that upsets me about it, is that Man United fans are not relative. Yeah. We like to not even put David De Gea in the same bracket as Van der Sar and Peter Schmeichel. Van der Sar had Rio and Vidic in front of him, and Peter Schmeichel.
Your thing, Vivian. I got
again. Yeah, but
he was making a good point, though.
He was making a good point. Yeah. So, what do you think? Before we move on to Arsenal, what do we think of that point he's making?
That's mad because that's the first time I've heard Akeem talk football sense, and then it cut off as well.
Yeah, the God said this can't run, innit?
Yeah.
But the thing is, he makes a good point. A lot of you, I'm hearing a lot of Man United fans saying that David De Gea should be sold. But me personally, I don't think. Call me a skeptic, but I don't think Dean Henderson is ready to take that number one spot. I'm all for hearing Dan in saying that he needs to be given that experience, but you can give him that experience and not get rid of a player who was your back-to-back best player of the season like two years ago and was one of your most consistent performers. I think that experience thing is definitely vital, and I think he makes a point there.
And to be honest, I don't even think they should sell De Gea, because I don't think he's like a rubbish keeper now. I don't think he's Kepa level. I don't think he's Pickford level. Do you know what I mean? I just think he's just not your top draw elite goalkeeper anymore, to be honest. Like, and I think there was one thing I did ask this question in the WhatsApp about because I was reading. I think that you changed your goalkeeping coach recently, and I think that actually makes a massive difference. Like, I've seen it at Arsenal that you have these keepers like your Szczesnys and Fabianskis that have really high potential, but the goalkeeping coach at Arsenal was moving mad, and they'd done an interview saying that this guy was basically showing them videos of like Mark Schwarzer and all of this as part of their coaching methods, and they had no idea what this guy was going on about. And obviously you saw that come out on the pitch, And then recently, with some of the new like coaching things that we've done behind the scenes, we brought in a new goalkeeping coach, and you're seeing that come out in the performances of Bernd Leno and Emi Martinez, who, you know, statistically have never ever been this good in the past, but they've clearly gone up a level since joining Arsenal. So I do think that goalkeeping coach that you have at United might be part of the reason that you're seeing a little bit of a decline in Dyer.
But then sometimes it's a thing where, because I remember when Petr Cech came and he said he ain't coming unless he brings his goalkeeping coach, and he sucked. So it doesn't matter.
You know what? You know what's mad? You know what's mad is that he didn't end up getting his goalkeeping coach. He had to use the Arsenal one that was already there. That was working with Ospina. No, he didn't get him. So, you know,
okay. That proves your point.
Backing up my point there. You know what I'm saying?
I thought he came.
You know what? We spent way too long talking about Man United. Now we spent way too long waiting for Hakeem's shitternet to turn back on. Basically,
no. Man's on the little team.
We're gonna try and get through Arsenal as quickly as possible. I know that's gonna be hard with two Arsenal fans on, but
come on.
let's talk about yesterday, because Arteta has actually bested Pep Guardiola here. Aubameyang has silenced the doubters, saying he can't score in a big game. And Arsenal have kept a clean sheet against the highest scorers in the Premier League. So, Frim, explain to me how that defense has managed to keep a clean sheet. Explain.
One word. I told the FA Cup. Listen, when it comes to the FA Cup, we do not lose it. Yeah, it's the only thing, because when we came back from the Corona thing, Man City piped us, cuz they showed us what real football was about in it. But when it comes to the magic of the FA Cup, nobody can get on our level. Listen, Arteta also is a good coach. Yeah, he's trained his lot to play the way that he wants them to play. This is why Guendouzi and Ozil need to get the hell out of it. That's why they're not in the squad. They're not in the squad for a reason. It's not because of back injuries and because this. Listen, if you don't want to basically go beat my drum, you don't want to come with me, then you're going to get left behind. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. These men were playing like, this is the best I've ever seen Arsenal play. And the thing is, I swear we had like 18% or something. We didn't even have that ball. We didn't even have the ball. But then it's another thing is where it doesn't matter if you have the ball all the time. It's matters what you do with it. And we just nullified Man City the whole game.
Yeah. And you made a good point there. It's what you do with the ball. Like, for most of that game, it felt like, I know obviously Sterling missed two big chances, but it felt like at points that Man City could have been there for like 4 or 5 hours, and they weren't going to find a way through, such as
magic of the FA Cup, blood. we just got that luck.
Brim's talking about this magic in the FA Cup. And it does actually seem that you lot really sort of save these, like, you lot bottle up these performances and you save them for the FA Cup. So what do you think? What impressed you the most about Arteta's sort of tactics yesterday then?
I mean, I just think it's clear that the players know what each of their roles are. Like, and I actually think tactically we were slightly better against Liverpool than we were against Man City, because I think Liverpool are actually a harder team to play against than Man City, if that makes any sense. Like, I know Man City have a quality press and that kind of thing, but I just think Liverpool are just a more difficult opposition to sort of do anything against. Like,
they're almost perfect, to be honest.
Yeah. And I just thought the way we defended and the plan that he had for each of the players was just so smart and executed to such a high level that it's clear that he can even communicate the plan to all of the players. Like, if you saw how quiet he kept Salah and Trent, who are basically, you know, that whole right side of Liverpool, who have shredded so many left backs and so many left wingers there, you know, was a much harder job, I think, than to stop, to keep the likes of Mendy and Kyle Walker, you know, from so I actually take a bit more solace from that Liverpool game than I do from the Man City game. But then what I would say is, when we were on the ball, the best thing about that Man City performance is that we actually showed no fear in trying to play out from the back, and you saw it on our goal that, you know, we basically said to Man City, you know what, when we have the ball, we're not going to be scared to use it and go forward and attack you. Whereas before, when you've seen it under Emery or under Wenger, when you're doing that 2 backs of 4 trying to defend your goal, we were kind of scared to even come out and do anything with the ball. That's what I thought was really encouraging from that game yesterday.
So, Steve, I'm going to quickly come to you then. What is it with Man City this season? Because it feels like, for whatever reason, it's some of these sort of like pressurized occasions for them, barring the Champions League. It seems as if they've just sort of not been able to deliver that performance. Like they struggled to overcome Aston Villa in the League Cup final. Several times this season in the league, where the onus has been on them to actually go and get the result. They haven't done it. What is it? What was it that Pep got wrong yesterday? Was it because I felt like the fullbacks, I felt like Arsenal did really well, Arteta did really well in exploiting Man City sort of fullbacks. And if you saw the Aubameyang run, I think Kyle Walker struggled to deal with Aubameyang's movement for the majority of the game. Where do you think Pep has gone wrong with this Man City side, and where do they really need to improve in the summer?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to get your take on it as well. But I've got an opinion, which is that obviously yesterday they were playing. I didn't watch the match yesterday. I was out getting drunk, but but they started Garcia and Laporte, and Laporte is as good a defender as he is. I don't know how much of a commanding centre back I'd call him. I don't know how much of a defender he is. And then obviously Garcia as well is unproven, certainly at this level of football, like FA Cup semi-final. On the bench, you've got Stones, who's a shambles of a defender, and then his best friend Otamendi is also a shambles of a defender. So for me, one is like just the talent at the back is poor. Like is not good enough to win titles. And obviously, you know, like the age-old rule, you need a good spine. But then also past that as well, in the last few years, obviously they've lost Yaya Toure, lost Company this season as well. And I think that leadership leaving the club completely. Like, I don't know why they just didn't extend Company's contract for one more year, even if he wasn't playing, or take him in on a coaching contract or something. But that hole looks like it's just left a massive gap from ability, because towards the end of last season he was playing really well, but then just in the leadership, you saw it in the Amazon documentary as well. I just think that's gone, and it looks like they've got a real gap that they need to plug there at the minute. From a mentality perspective.
Yeah,
and obviously this season as well, Silva's going to be leaving as well, so that's another one.
Speaking on that, Silva as well, though, because he started that game, and I think we all know that he's had a bit of a renaissance since the restart. But one of the big issues that we've had with David Silva over this season and towards probably the second half of last year is in some of these big matches, his influence is just completely diminished. And I felt yesterday it was like the David Silva I was watching before lockdown. I didn't really think he stamped his authority in that game. And I think for me personally, the one thing which has now changed in this Man City team is that they are so heavily reliant on Kevin De Bruyne to create. And I think when he doesn't create, or better yet, when teams find a way to sort of stop him from being at his creative best, Man City don't have a plan B. Whereas if you rewind to last season, they had Bernardo Silva, they had Gundogan who could pass through the lines. They had
Leroy Sané as well, just to be direct.
You could come off the bench, etc., etc. And of course, they were missing Aguero as well. But it just felt like they were overly reliant on Kevin De Bruyne, and it led to people saying that he's a crossing merchant, he's a spam merchant. But of course, whenever it seems that Man City are struggling to find a way to break teams down, they revert to type, and it's just spam crosses it. So, Frim, I'm going to quickly come to you on this as well. Next season, is Phil Foden? I know he's a baller and whatnot. With obviously David Silva stepping out of the picture, Phil Foden there for the taking, and they got Bernardo Silva. Do Man City still need to go out here and consider spending more to try and bring someone who can actually create goals as well?
And Tobi, sorry, can I just add? Just quickly, just to add, obviously they've lost Arteta as well. He's another I mean,
Yeah, man. He's the guy that puts out their cones, man. Like, how this what's the function?
So I feel like there's a lot of key people in that dressing room who have just gone away from City over the last season or so. It's going to be increasing. Like, it's a big gap to fill. But yeah, sorry, Frips.
Things I feel like Silva, the other Silva could fill. I feel like he could fill it, but then he needs to play, and Phil Foden also needs to play as well. Like, I feel like these guys will get better if they get minutes, but then it's the question of a team like Man City. Do they have time to be waiting for these guys to come good? Like, you could do that at Arsenal. Like, that's sort of our model, innit? We put these guys in, and then we hope that they come good. Whereas with Man City, these guys are trying to win titles every year. So are we going to wait for Phil Foden? Are we going to wait for Bernard? Flipping Bernard. Are we going to wait for him to come good? So it's a question of, are they going to like rely on these guys, or are they going to go out and spend money? And knowing Pep, he probably is. He's probably going to get the checkbook out, because one thing that they need to sort out definitely is their centre backs. They need another centre back to go partner. What's his name?
Laporte.
Yeah. Because the Garcia guy ain't cutting it. Otamendi ain't cutting it. Like, what's happened with John Stones? Like, I thought he was supposed to be like and then people will always say, they're not really sure about the left back position, but I feel like they were winning games with that weird guy that doesn't. Yeah. Like, they won the league with him at left back. So it's the centre back position where I feel like they need to go and look for somebody.
Yeah, Dan, I wanted to come to you next, actually, because I wanted to ask you a question on whether Pep Guardiola got his starting lineup wrong, because Benjamin Mendy, like Frims just pointed out, he's been. I know Zinchenko ain't been great, but Benjamin Mendy's been. He hasn't really been. He's been poor offensively and defensively this season as well. Midfield as well. I feel like we've seen Gundogan in these sort of higher pressurized matches where he's playing as the number 6. He hasn't really fared quite well in terms of protecting that defense. Do you think that he should have started Fernandinho or Rodri in this game? And also as well, I wanted to ask you on Jesus, because we spoke about.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was saying that guy's a fraud, blood. He's rubbish. This guy was supposed to be like savior. Nah, he's dead.
It's twofold. He didn't get the lineup wrong, and Gabriel Jesus and is the gap between Gabriel Jesus too much that Man City really need to go and actually bolster this striking department?
Yeah, do you know what? I think I actually like Jesus a lot, but I think he's just too restricted when he plays for Man City. Do you know what I mean? Because I think Pep really wants.
I think he'll do well at Arsenal.
Yeah, like I think if Jesus had more freedom to actually roam and have more of a freer role in that playing number 9, I think he'd do a lot better, because this guy on the ball, he's a really, really good dribbler. He's really, really good at link-up play. And some of the stuff that I think the way City play doesn't actually suit him per se, because they're a team that puts a lot of crosses into the box. And really, if you're playing against 3 centre-backs and you're crossing it to Mustafi, Luiz and Kieran Tierney, who are all really good in the air, you're never really going to get much joy out of that. And I think just to add to Frimpon's point as well, I think the biggest miss for City this season is Leroy Sané, because for me, I think both him and Sterling are actually better going on the outside rather than cutting in. And City are better when they have that option to go around the outside of defenders and go both ways, because with the signing of Mahrez and Bernardo Silva, both of them love to cut in when they're playing on that right side, and both can only really play on that right side as well. And so Sterling's forced to play on the left, and he never has the option of, sort of going to the byline and swinging balls in. So I think they need to sign another winger that can give them another option of potentially going around the outside that they had with Sané, and I think that's a big miss from their attack.
Do you think they're lacking in a bit of pace now as well?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Because if you look at their front 3 now, if Aguero's starting, then and it's one of Bernardo Silva and Mahrez on the wing, it's Sterling's the only really pacey one in there. Whereas in seasons gone by, obviously they were much more lightning, and I think they're a bit predictable. To your point, with the wingers cutting in, Silva and to a lesser extent Mahrez are a bit more predictable when they're cutting in. It's not as pacey, it's not as quick as they have been in other seasons.
Yeah, on it's you raised a good point about Gabriel Jesus, because you know Pep Guardiola, he's all about positional play. So he's all about, I don't care what you do as a striker, you have to be in the right place at the right time. But we saw let's circle back to Copa America. We saw Gabriel Jesus play a different role for Brazil, where he played off the wings, like you said, Dan. He had more of a free role, and he thrived in that position. But I think the biggest thing that probably should concern a lot of Man City fans is even though he's got all these qualities, I like Gabriel Jesus. I think he's a very good striker, but the thing that he doesn't assert enough in these games is presence. I feel like with Sergio Aguero, when he's on the pitch, you're worried.
Yeah, sure.
The minute he gets on the ball, you don't even want him anywhere near sort of like the edge of the area, because you know he's going for the jugular. And even when he's 1v1 with you, I think he's more of a handful. He's more of a handful to deal with. And I just think Gabriel Jesus, for all his technical qualities, sometimes he simply isn't enough of a nuisance. And he can be a nuisance. I just don't know why he doesn't do it enough. And I think that's going to possibly hinder him in this sort of battle to be Man City's number one striker.
But then that means that if that means City have to play to Jesus' strengths. Like you said, Kevin De Bruyne, all he's going to do is be whipping in balls. And if he's up against defenders like David Luiz and these Socrates guys that just head balls out the area for fun, like he's not going to get any joy. So if they really want Jesus to be the guy, they got to play to his strength and just let it, Jesus, you just free roam, you do your thing, and we try to get the ball to you. Well, it's not going to work.
But it will never be like that under Pep Guardiola. And I think
that means he needs to leave. He needs to duck out and come Arsenal or something. Shopping for Lacazette or something.
So before because I wanted to quickly touch on the race for top four relegation quickly, but before we move on to those topics, Arsenal, Chelsea, quick poll. I know we're probably going to do like a preview pod before the final, but quick poll. Where do we see that final sort of swinging?
Arsenal.
Of course, you're going to say that.
But listen, like, fine, we don't lose them.
I'm not going to lie, yeah. Frimson, he's spun me with this Arsenal's competition is the FA Cup. It really is. I think it's valid, But same way, Chelsea's competition is also the FA Cup.
Yeah, it's true. It's
One
really
thing
true.
I go back to, United, Arsenal, when we took you to pennies, you man peppered us. We did not deserve to win that final.
Yeah,
no way. No way. I remember I was in this room when I watched it. I said, no way that these men deserve to win it. And we still won it. These United guys were crying, cuz. These men were weak. And the thing is, are we crying with these men worked? These men worked us.
They actually
still
did.
Didn't happen.
It did. Scholes was fuming. Fuming.
We don't lose them.
Yeah.
Whole City were 2-0 up. Yeah? Arsene Wenger's Arsenal, blood. They were 2-0 up. We came back 3-2.
The thing that worries me a little bit is obviously I know Aubameyang scored yesterday, but I'm not sure if we've got the big game players there to sort of win a final that we used to have in like Alexis Sanchez, maybe or Aaron Ramsey might pop up with a goal. Yeah, even you can even say Olivier Giroud as well. Yeah, so I do think it'll be a tight game. Obviously, I think I'm going to take encouragement from the way we played against Chelsea in the league matches, and I think we did do enough against them. So hopefully, if Arteta gets the tactics as well, I can see us getting that win as well.
Okay, well, 2-1. I wish you and Chelsea both nothing but the worst of luck. I hate that both my rivals are going to be in the chance to win the trophy, but
man, we're not both North London. You're not going to support me.
Arteta in what 9 months of management, can potentially do something that Pochettino's never done, and or Lampard in his second year of management can also. So it's actually nuts to be a Spurs fan.
Well, guys, we got 6 minutes left quickly, so I just wanted to touch on both these points. So quickly, just to touch on top four, Leicester obviously got Pepper today. Harry Kane seemingly back to his best. What does Leicester? Where do we? are we unchanged in the fact that we're predicting that they're going to finish outside of the top 4 this season?
Yeah, they're dropping out, man.
Bro,
I don't know what's happened with them.
Bro, somebody needs to give me my clout coins. I called it in 2019. I called it. Nah, seriously, for the amount of times you lot get onto me, somebody has got to give me my clout coins. Yeah?
Give me my accolades.
I called one, yeah. This season, I called in August. I said United are going to finish in the top 4. They laughed me out of the room. I even laughed my own self out of the room. And then 2, when Leicester were about 14 points ahead of United, when Leicester were about 14 points ahead of United, I said, I don't believe Leicester are going to make this top 4. I don't think it's certified. And here we are. There needs to be an inquest into Rodgers because this is a shocking second half of this season.
Does anyone know who Leicester got next?
Yeah,
United.
No, they haven't.
One game left.
Yeah, United.
Oh, yeah, they have got United. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Steve, you've made a good point there, and I wanted to see if Dan, if you can just do it quickly, summarize it because we've got 5 minutes left. But Brendan Rodgers, you said that there needs to be an inquest. I mean, if we had said at the start of the season that Leicester would finish 5th, everyone would say that's a fantastic achievement. So, should this still be a glass sort of half full or half empty for Brendan Rodgers?
I think definitely half full, because I do think, he does have to take a long, hard look at himself, because I know they've had some injuries, this, that, and the other, but some of the points that they've dropped are unforgivable, I think, personally. And if you're looking at it where it's coming down to potentially goal difference, a point or against Everton or losing to Brighton and that kind of thing, like those are things that you can't run when you're trying to get top 4. But yeah, I still definitely think glass half full because, if you look at Leicester finishing above Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, do you know what I mean? That's a great season for them.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out because obviously Chelsea have Liverpool next. Man United, I'm not sure who you have next, Steve. Who do you have in the league next?
We've got West Ham, then we've got Leicester.
You got West Ham at home or away?
Again, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You say that. Actually, you know what? I think promotion is
safe now.
They're safe now, so they'll probably down tools. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
West Ham are at home, and then I think we've got Leicester away.
Yeah. So what do we think of the sort of Europa League spots then? Because do we think that that's going to go down to, obviously you lot said Arsenal are going to win the FA Cup, so then that would they'd take that spot.
It's not my competition anymore, so I don't care.
So Frim and Dan, who do you think is going to get the 6th spot out of us and Wolves?
Tottenham, I think Tottenham are going to,
2 points ahead of them with a game in hand.
Yeah, I think Tottenham are going to do it.
Dan?
Wolves blood. That Traore guy's a fraud too, blood. He's Anthony Joshua on the right wing, blood. That's it.
This is outrageous.
He's just wedging fast, bro.
It's outrageous.
When we played them, everyone was shook of him. I said this before the game. I said this guy is not on smoke, bro. He can't shoot, he can't cross. What's the point of being fast if you can't do that?
Nah, his crossing's on point. His crossing is on point.
Trash, blood.
I think Wolves' last game is against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, so I think because of that reason, Spurs will get it.
Who's Spurs got?
We got Crystal Palace.
You got it.
I think Spurs will get it on that basis that Jose will do enough to get them into Europe next year and be able to spend some money.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's quickly turn our attention to the relegation battle because Watford sacked Nigel Pearson today. So I just wanted to quickly get around the room sort of opinion. What do we think about that decision? Madness or justified?
Somebody needs to hold these what is it, the Ponzos? Yeah, fam, they're moving mad, fam. This is not bro. This is not
Two games left.
I heard a rumor that Hayden Mullins is going to be the caretaker manager for their last 2
matches. Newcastle player.
Hayden Mullins. West
Wait,
Ham.
wait. Do you mean
What, the
are
DM?
you thinking Isaac Hayden? Is that what he's
Oh
thinking?
my God.
You don't know who he is.
I said the Newcastle DM is going to be the new manager, blood.
How many Haydens are there in the Premier League, man?
He was a DM. He used to play for Pat. So he played
Yeah.
for Palace, West Ham, Portsmouth.
Yeah, West
You know,
Ham.
Yeah.
I know. He's
Yeah.
mixed race, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's rumors that he's going to be the caretaking manager, and they have Arsenal away, Man City at home as their last two fixtures. And what do we think? Do we think that they're still safe?
I just don't see Bournemouth or Villa getting the wins required. You know,
Who have Villa got?
So
Villa got Arsenal next game on Tuesday, and then last day of the season is West Ham away.
yeah.
It's strange. But I think you can only sack a manager like that, like something that he must have lost the dressing room like completely for them to do.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what's crazy. So I don't. Like.
Yeah, but Nigel Pearson's a wild manager, bro.
Yeah, he is.
Like he's kind of wild, bro. Sometimes he just comes out with the maddest things. There was one thing. I remember in a press conference, he said something about ostrich.
Yeah. The thing is, Nigel Pearson's definitely an eccentric character.
Yeah.
But I just think that these pozzers, like they're so trigger happy. Like sacking him now or sacking him after 2 games, it does really make a lot of sense. And I think as well, people are saying, yeah, Watford are bad. But when he took over, they were rock bottom of the Premier League. Like they were even worse. They were even worse than Norwich, innit? So I don't really understand that decision when potentially he can still keep you in the Premier League. So so it's a weird one.
17th with
3
points.
I think they could survive.
Yeah, and much better goal difference than Aston Villa as well. Like it's a weird one.
Yeah, they got a 3-point gap. They got a 3-point gap over Bournemouth with a game less played, and they're level on points to Aston Villa now with superior goal difference as well. So I've spoken to a few Watford fans, and a few of them think that he's awful in terms of football and in terms of getting the best out of their better players. And I hear that going forward, but for the job that you need this season, I see no reason why you would have sacked him with 2 games to go. So it's a weird one.
He ate somebody's food out of the fridge, man. That's why they like. He ate one of the owners' food, and they're like, what?
Before we end, did anyone catch the Bournemouth game today? They scored. So here's a textbook example of Bournemouth's season so far. Yeah. So 1-0 down to Southampton, courtesy of a great Danny Ings goal. Yeah. They've battled. They score a goal in injury time, thinking it's 1-1. It's been scored by this football manager regen called Surridge or whatever his name is. Only for Callum Wilson to be blatantly offside. So the goal gets disallowed, and guess what happens? Southampton go at the other end.
Oh, just two.
I thought people were laughing, but Shea Adams scores. I think they're done. I think they're done. So my last question to you lot is: when they go down, which players are staying? Which players are dipping?
Aki will go in.
Aki will go.
I think the keeper will go as well. I think someone will buy Ramsdale.
Not
that I rate him, but I think he's got good reputation, and I think David Brooks will get a move as well.
So what about Lewis Cook, Callum Wilson?
I don't know about these men, to be honest.
I think it's peak for them when they go down.
Wait, how old Callum?
If I was Amazon, I'd do an all or nothing season because they might hit League One quickly. I'm telling you, it might get long for them.
Callum Wilson, how old is he?
He must be like
28. I think he's at 28.
He could get one of those clubs that come up.
I've even said someone like Brighton could do with Callum Wilson though. So Callum Wilson might get a move as well, actually.
What about Josh King? Surely Josh King will get a move with a year left.
You almost got a move to United, didn't you? So
Yeah, it's a weird one.
I think Josh King will get a move. Dominic Solanke is staying with Bournemouth because nobody wants that, bro. Man scored 2 goals in like 4 years. That is trash.
Quick one. We've got last questions from Mush. How high up should Brooks go? Where do we see him playing? Are we talking top 10, top 6, top 2, top 4?
I'd like to see Leicester going for him. I think that's the right sort of level for him, and I think they could do with some genuine wingers as well. So that's the sort of club that I'd see him going to, and I think he'd be there with a good manager as well. So that's to me is like an ideal pairing. But as far as how high can he go, I don't actually know.
I don't see a top 6 team making a move for him, but I think your Leicester's I can see him doing well at Southampton as well, because I think they'll be.
You see him going like West Ham or something.
Rating.
They could. But yeah, I think Southampton will be a lot better next season if they back Hasenhüttl a little bit more. I think he would do well under Hasenhüttl.
Yeah. Okay. That's it, guys. That's it for us this week. Thank you for joining. Unlucky Steve. Commiserations.
But you know what? Yeah, I'm not even mad because I would have.
I ain't not mad. Shut up. You're mad. You're mad. You are mad, Steve. You are mad.
You know when you just have to take the abuse.
Hey, don't worry. I'll send you a postcard from the final, cause don't worry.
If you lot do not win, I am up on every social media platform.
We're back here.
Do you think I'm coming on? All right, you ain't here for me.
Bro, see me again. I'll be in your LinkedIn.
Thank you for, if you're still watching, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. If you're not following us already, make sure to follow TapIn Football on all socials. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube, and we'll be back on Thursday, to discuss the battering that Chelsea are going to receive from Liverpool. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Good night.